Well, hello, shell buddies, and welcome back to the channel. Today we have a beach report for you. It is, let me look up here on my date, Thursday, April 11th, and as per usual, like we've had most of the winter and the first part of this spring, we get a storm just about weekly right now that brings in very high winds and brings in a lot of shells. Today we are in the central Gulf Coast of Florida under a tornado watch until this afternoon, a coastal flooding advisory until tomorrow night. We are looking at 20 to 30 mile an hour sustained winds with 50 mile an hour gusts right now. That's going to produce 1 to 4 additional feet of tide swing pushing in for us for both high and low tide and cause probably some significant coastal erosion and damage once again for the Gulf Coast. The setup situation that we have right now is a direct south wind. I mean, literally coming directly from the south. This results in an extremely tropical feel out at the beaches. If you were to go out there right now, you would swear it was August, not April. It's balmy, it's humid, it's sticky, and it's windy. Just like it feels before we get a real big storm. To go along with those big winds and those juicy air conditions, we do have a tornado watch until 3 or 4 o'clock, I think, this afternoon. We are under a gale warning, a small craft advisory, a coastal flood warning. So just to let you know, this will produce some good shelling conditions, but today and maybe first thing in the morning tomorrow aren't exactly the best times to go. Generally, when we have winds like this, it's better to give it a day or so for things to calm down and settle a little bit. That being said, we've had fantastic shelling all winter and spring up here so far, and I don't expect this storm is going to be any different for us. It has no name, just like many of the others that have rolled through, but with the south, then abrupt shift to west, what that should do is push water up and then in. That should bring the shells along with it. I would suggest looking at the southern ends of peninsulas to about not quite the middle, maybe the bottom third of your peninsulas, maybe the middle in a couple select places that you should be looking at really great shelling conditions as soon as the waves calm down. With conditions like this, rip currents are always a danger and always a factor. You can be knocked off your feet very easily by less than a 1-foot wave if you're not expecting it and it hits you from behind. So I would say go ahead and get out there and go shelling, but do it with some care and some caution. Pay attention to your tide, pay attention to your wind, and pay attention to your waves. Now with all this surf and all this wind, you are going to have what's called chocolate milk conditions out there when you attempt to go shelling. What this means is as the waves break near the shoreline, all this silt and sand gets churned up with it, meaning the water doesn't look like our beautiful tropical blue or clear and see-through. It looks kind of like chocolate milk. I would expect the water visibility is going to be not very good for the next day or two while all of this calms down. Typically, after a really big storm out here on the Gulf, some of the places that we know are hot spots turn into even better hot spots. South Lido Key, Pass-a-Grille, Egmont, Fort DeSoto, Sunset Beach, Shell Key, and further north of us, Anclote Anchorage area. All of these places should absolutely have great shelling coming into this weekend because usually about 2 days after you get a really big wind like this is when shelling conditions are the best. Once thing has time to calm down, water has time to settle, chocolate milk clears up, and you can see the rip currents calm down and everything kind of gets a little bit back to normal. So those are going to be your shelling hotspots for the upcoming weekend. In the meantime, there is a sugar sand festival going on in Clearwater at Pier 60. They are shutting it down today for the day because of expected wind and rain issues and problems, but you will be able to go back up there Friday and Saturday to enjoy the end of the Sugar Sand Festival and all the great professional sand sculptures they have there too. Thanks so much for joining me on this blustery Thursday, and we'll be back again later on this weekend with more updates. Remember, get out there and go shelling!